So that's all they know. Got more Rhetoric coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, I'm going to say thank y'all for joining me today. So I have more Rhetoric for y'all now. That's all they know. It is an example of end result thinking. You know, black folks always focusing on the disparity that's basically unfavorable to black people. They completely ignore why the disparity exists. They just assume that it's happening because of racism. As you know, black folks often cry about mass incarceration. That's something that they cry about, which mass incarceration itself is an example of rhetoric. But if black folks also commit mass crime, something that they repeatedly ignore, and if you commit mass crime, then your negative interaction with the police officer is going to be greatly increased. You're going to have more of that. So it should be no argument. It should be no brainer, right? But then, like I said, it should be common sense, but when you're dealing with race hustlers, common sense doesn't matter. When you're dealing with brainwashed blacks, it's just common sense goes out the window. Because as I've always said, when you're dealing with black folks, when race starts, brains stop, right? So if you have a problem with the mass incarceration, then stop the mass crime. That should be what we should be focusing on. And the question has to be asked, because if you want to get the answers, you ask questions. Well, why do they do that? Why are they committing mass crime? Well, the response that you get from black folks is, well, that's all they know. And I ask myself, well, again, why? Why is it that black people, the blacks in the hood, why is it that this is all they know? I mean, we live in America, and I'm talking about American blacks, the land of opportunity, the place where if you can't make it in America, you ain't gonna make it anywhere. Now, I agree that that's all they know. I completely agree with that. The problem is it's the culture, because this is all they see in the hoods. Okay, now, this is all they see is degeneracy, gang banging, thugging, and selling drugs and stuff. This is all they see. And, you know, you emulate what you see when you're growing up. And if they see nothing but degeneracy, they're going to emulate that degeneracy. So, to a certain extent, I do agree with that. But here's the question that I have, though. Because I'm all about the why. I'm not going to sit here and haggle over the what. I need to know what's why, because the why is the beginning of solutions. And a question I have for all these blacks who keep crying about that's all they know, or use this as an excuse for why the black community is in the state it is. How did we go from building Black Wall Street, and not only building Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but rebuilding it better than it was before, after it was burned down, and then all the other Black Wall Streets that existed back then? How do we go from building that to knowing nothing but drugs, how to be drug dealers, how to degeneracy? How do we go from that? Is anybody asking that question? Because like I said, that's the beginning of the solution. How do we get there? And of course, the answer to that question is it started happening with the downfall of the black community. I've talked about this many times before. It started after the turbulent 60s, after third wave feminism, and basically gave black females a free pass to be sexually liberated. And when they got the negative repercussions of being sexually liberated, that being single parents becoming single mothers, the Great Society came in and was the fault of the family. The Great Society basically took care of black females, right? Took care of all their provision. They had free housing, free clothing, free food, free everything. They didn't have to work for anything, and they had no responsibility. And since they had no responsibility, there was no pain associated with that behavior. They just kept doing it. And this is, as I said many times before, that right there is the origin of the hood. This is the origin of this bad culture that we see amongst black people today that didn't exist prior to the 1960s. This is the result of the destruction of the downfall of the black community. That right there. So My question is to these race hustlers, do you really care about the state of black people? Black folks, do you really care about the state of black folks? If you really truly do, then you will be addressing that problem. You wouldn't be sitting here crying about no white supremacy all damn day. So I wonder. Anyway, if you ever hear any of these race hustlers crying about, well, that's all they know, that's why they do it, well, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. And as always, y'all, until next time.